So I wanted to get some extra thoughts out there regarding the Montreal Canadiens and their Game 4 loss at the Bell Center at the hands of the Buffalo Sabres. The series is now tied 2-2. It is a best 2 out of 3 scenario. And the Montreal Canadiens were, unfortunately, not able to use the support and the energy, the rallying of the fans in the Bell Center to help them out with a victory here. There were a number of things that you can bring up as legitimately concerning elements of this Canadiens team in this Game 4, and I wanted to talk about 2 of them today. Let's dive into a conversation on the 2 European dudes playing on the top power play. And obviously, I'm not really being too subtle about it. We gotta talk about Juraj Slafkovsky, and we gotta talk about Ivan Demidov. Because both of these guys really didn't have a great Game 4 against Buffalo. And you could say that the power play, very much, it could have used more from those 2 players specifically. The decision-making, the hands, yes, okay, it's true. Ivan Demidov can receive a puck and he can make a pass, but Juraj Slafkovsky, I don't know what's going on. Is it fair to bring up the clobbering that he had received from Brandon Hagel in round 1? Is it fair to bring up the big hit that he got as well? Is something off with Juraj Slafkovsky mentally because it's affecting his on-ice play? Ivan Demidov looks exhausted. He's a guy that, for the most part, throughout the course of the season, we saw dynamism from. Electric, magic from his stick. And now, he's playing more like a play facilitator rather than a play maker. Now, I will say this as well. Juraj Slafkovsky and Ivan Demidov, right now, they have played the most hockey they have probably ever played in their lives in the 25-26 NHL season. Firstly, might I remind you, Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, these guys played in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2021. But okay, 2021, that was a shortened season, and Cole Caulfield was coming over from the NCAA, so maybe he didn't play too many games that year per se. But think about where these guys came from. Cole Caulfield was playing out of the USNTDP earlier in his career. That's a program that will regularly see its athletes get up to 80, sometimes even 90 games per season, on top of international tournaments where you can represent the USA and other opportunities where you can play off against NCAA clubs. Nick Suzuki's a product of the OHL. Guess what? They play a ton of games in the OHL as well, every single year. And then you add on the playoffs, there's a very legitimate chance that if you're playing in the OHL, you can get up to 70, 80 games a year too. Not to mention the fact that Nick Suzuki has been an absolute gamer, getting 82 games over and over and over again ever since 2021. Of course, knock on wood, that Iron Man streak continues, but he's been doing so much for the Montreal Canadiens from a volume perspective. Juraj Slafkovsky, he played his development in Europe, and generally speaking, the European leagues don't like to give their young players as many games to develop and get used to that sort of a toll. Furthermore, Juraj Slafkovsky played 82 games with the Montreal Canadiens this season, on top of Olympic hockey with Slovakia, where he was a monster, by the way. And then he's got 11 games so far in the playoffs. So this has been by far the most heavily used year of Juraj Slafkovsky's life playing hockey. Add all of the games that he has participated in, 82 plus 6 plus 11, Juraj Slafkovsky is at 99 total games played on the season. That's a lot, and it's more than he has been used to over the past few years. And then you have Ivan Demidov. Now, it's true that Demidov played in various leagues throughout the course of his development, but still, the games, he doesn't really get that many games when you add it all together. The most he had before this season, where he did play 82 games, by the way, Looks like it was his 24-25 season with 65 SKA St. Petersburg games, add on 6 playoff games, and then you had the 7-game Montreal Canadiens sample. That was a really interesting development as well, because the KHL, it's bigger ice, and Demidov, let's be real, he wasn't used as a top guy on SKA St. Petersburg, so you could debate whether or not those 71 games that he played with the team were really as demanding as 71 NHL games where you're a top power play guy and you're expected to contribute. Demidov's 20 years old. He's gonna be fine. Slafkovsky is young too, so obviously I'm not saying that there should be panic about these dudes heading into the future, but in the short term, Slafkovsky and Demidov are exhausted, and you can see it in the way that they move and how they make decisions in the offensive zone. It's been a really rough go. And now we are starting to see conversations from Canadiens fans antsy about the power play. Hey, they should put Alex Newhook on power play 1 instead of Ivan Demidov. Get somebody who's already been there before, who does have a Stanley Cup championship to their name, and who has gone to distance in previous years. Plus, a guy who is just playing super hot lately because, yeah, Alex Newhook, I mean, he's got 6 goals in 11 games so far for the Montreal Canadiens. He is one of the top goal scorers in the entire playoffs so far. It's pretty remarkable. He's the top guy on Montreal in terms of overall goals, too. Him and Kirby Dach are 1 and 2, which is definitely surprising. And then you think about some of the other guys, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson. There are moments where you can say that all of these guys are guilty of not shooting the puck as much. I think that's one of the biggest symptoms of Montreal's losing throughout this series, and I say that fully acknowledging that I'm micro-analyzing the heck out of it because, yeah, they've only lost twice. But then again, it's the playoffs. You can only lose 4 times before you're out. So every single moment needs to be micro-analyzed. Every issue needs a reaction, if not an overreaction, to overcorrect it. And who knows if that's going to come across as a power play demotion. For a Demidov or a Slafkovsky, give them more rest, give them more breathing room, and give more opportunity to the guys that have been able to convert. The middle to bottom 6 has been pretty strong in Montreal throughout the course of this playoff run so far. Past Tampa Bay in 2 games, 2 wins into the Buffalo series. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you noticing some of these things that I'm thinking about when it comes to Juraj Slafkovsky and Demidov in the postseason so far? Maybe it's exacerbated because of what we had seen in Game 4, where the Montreal Canadiens had 7 power play opportunities, and guess what? They only scored 1 power play goal. That's not enough. That is not enough. The Montreal Canadiens had 2 minutes and 4 minutes, power plays here and there. You can't not score on a double minor. You need to score. It's the difference between letting Tage Thompson's crazy stanchion Zamboni goal affect you, and the difference between giving Buffalo a huge momentum boost after killing 4 minutes on the power play straight towards the end of the second period. There's a lot at stake, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.